Hello everybody, my name's Diana. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing our interview with my friend here, Sarah. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hmm. My lovely friend here, Sarah. She just finished her SRS in Thailand. So we're gonna have her share a little bit about her experience and a little bit before, a little bit after, how she feels emotionally, um, you know, whatever she feels like sharing, like the recovery and all of that. So, Sarah.
Well, I'm a pretty much of a newbie at this because I'm pretty old already for
Mm-hmm.
considering when to get into this. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't the easiest thing to get involved in this at all because I've been carrying this around with me all my life, and I just decided not that long ago that I decided I wanted to go all the way. I had been dressing up, going out, but I was never exactly uh, positive that I wanted to have the surgery, and then until I did.
So when did you first know that you were transgendered?
Oh, that goes way, way back. I remember from a time when I couldn't have been more than about 3 or 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my very first memories. Being with my mother and in a store, holding her hand in a group. Funny, I remember almost some exact details. We were in a grocery store, and I saw a lady walking in front of me, and she looked very nice. She looked very, and I remember thinking, "Oh God, I wish I could be like her." And that memory, all these years later, is still there.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
I've known it. I didn't think it was very strange until afterwards when I was a bit older, and I thought, how come I have thoughts like this? Do
Yeah.
other guys have thoughts like this? And
I definitely know what you mean because I have similar experiences as well, so I can relate to that. So recently, it was only recently that you feel like you were ready to do the bottom surgery.
yeah, I mean I've been in the closet for many years. I've been married,
Mm-hmm.
uh, suppressed it while I was married. I didn't do it in front of my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and after she passed away, I started coming out and doing it, and it just started escalating. And
Mm-hmm.
I started dressing more and more and going out more and more often. First, just on the weekend, and then during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came out at work.
Mm-hmm.
I teach or I taught at a college, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a big step. And after that, um, I the idea came through. Why don't you go all the way? And when I heard some of the stories of people that I know that had gone, I thought, okay, I have to do it. And so I made up my mind, and I proceeded then to take the steps. I applied for the surgery in Montreal because we have the one institute in Canada, right in Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
GRS Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through all the steps. I got all the paperwork done, and I thought everything was going ahead as normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then they called me and told me that they weren't going to do it. And
Oh no.
so it was because I had I wouldn't say I had a heart problem, but I had a condition which was not
Mm-hmm.
discovered all my life. I have something called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is an abnormality of the heart muscle,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't show itself except in extreme cases where there's a very extra amount of exertion, and then the heart gets irregular, and then defibrillates. Basically, it stops working.
Right.
And so they found out about this, and they said through something unrelated, and they told me that I should get a defibrillator implanted. So I thought, well, yeah, I guess it's a good idea, but I didn't realize that this was going to be a problem with the surgery. And so when they found out that I had it, they just said, okay, sorry, we can't go any further. We are just a clinic for SRS, and we're not set up in case if there are any cardiac problems.
Oh no!
So that was, I was pretty upset.
Do you feel like that they should actually be more prepared, like the clinic wise, for this sort of thing? Does it make sense if they're a clinic for doing surgery and then they're not prepared for like emergencies? Like even if you didn't have a defibrillator, sort of heart conditions can still just pop up, right?
They can. I've heard that they have turned away other people that have had other similar or lesser types of conditions. So, in a way, I don't know if I can blame them because they want to make money, right? Basically, that surgeon got into it because it's a money-making deal, and if somebody dies on the operating table there, then it's bad advertising. So, my point of view is I knew I was in good condition, but they don't know that. They don't. So
were they not satisfied with a doctor's report from your family doctor, or
apparently not. Apparently not.
This is in Montreal.
Yeah, this is there's only the one in Canada, right? So OHIP pays for surgery for SRS surgery in Montreal, and there's nowhere else in Canada. So if they wouldn't do it, then I have to go outside of Canada. But I didn't think of that right away. I was really upset, so I had to just stop and regroup and gather my thoughts and find out what was next. So I had to recover first.
Okay, so then after you decided on going to Thailand, right?
Yeah, I didn't decide directly. I just some word of mouth. I heard that Thailand was a big center for that, and then my electrolysis, the one who did my beard, told me about a person that she knew about that had been to Thailand and was the first one to get OHIP approval for a particular hospital in Thailand. Because before that, you could go to Thailand, but you had to pay everything yourself up front.
Okay.
So, which is quite a big deal. So I followed up on this. I talked to the person that had arranged that, and she was going to bring another group of Canadians in November, and so I thought, okay, I got to get on board this. So I arranged with her and arranged with the hospital in Thailand. I thought it was going to go pretty easily, but some complications came up later on related to this heart condition that I had.
Right. They had the same concerns.
Well, not at first. At first, I just sent my information in, and they said, "Oh, you sound like a person that is suitable for this type of surgery." And so I went ahead and sent all my stuff in. They asked me to fill out forms. They asked me to take tests, blood tests, and so on, and send them the result. And so everything was going normally, without any problem arising. And all of this, I was supposed to leave November 1st. That was my flight. I was supposed to go with the group, and then about a week before, they said, "Oh, we've looked at your situation, and we've decided it's too risky to do it."
Oh no!
And so I thought, "Oh my God, not again," because they had said everything was okay up until that time, and now just before I'm supposed to fly, they tell me they're not going to do it. So I was a little bit desperate at that time. So I said, well, why don't I come and you could do the medical tests on me over there, and if I fail, then you don't do the surgery. But if I pass the tests, then you'll go ahead with the surgery. And so they said, okay, well, we can do that. So, but there's no guarantee.
Would they have not accepted you doing the test here and then sending the results over?
I did send the results over.
So you did the test here.
I did all the tests.
And they wanted to do it again there.
They wanted to do it again.
Oh my God, that's what? That doesn't make any sense.
They wanted to have it firsthand. They wanted to see for themselves. So,
but that
I know it doesn't make sense, but
it's the same test.
Yeah. Well, I did a stress test, like where I was on a treadmill. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they have to see it for themselves. So that all came later.
So weird.
So so they agreed, but of course this was going to cost me extra. All of that.
Of course.
The hospital, the surgery in the hospital say is going to be paid by OHIP, but all of this extra stuff was going to cost me. So I went, all full of hope and everything, and I was with a group of a couple of other Canadians that were there, and they had their surgery set up before me.
How many did you go with about, do you know?
About 4 others.
4 others?
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a Canadian group there, so we were. And
are they from all over the country?
Well,
or?
2 of them were from Sudbury. One was from Toronto. The other was from London, Ontario.
Wow. So still around this area.
Around this area, yeah.
Okay.
So the first days, I was originally scheduled to do it on the 10th of November, but they postponed it and said because they wanted to do the test. And then I had an interview, and it sounded like the doctor was saying, well, my colleagues, I'm willing to do the surgery, but my colleagues think it's a bit too risky. So, and again, I thought I had this sinking feeling that, oh no, they're just going to turn me down. They're not even going to give me a chance. Oh. But that was as low as it got. And then a couple of days later, they said, we'll send you to another hospital, a cardiac hospital, and if you agree to do the test, like do the stress test, to do the heart tests and so on, all the ones that they give you, and you pass, then we will do the surgery. And so I agreed, but I went, and one day, so I did all kinds of tests. I did running on a treadmill, and I passed. So
yay!
They said, okay, now it's on again, right? On again, off again, and
toying with your feelings.
Twice, right? I was up this emotional roller coaster, up and down, and
this is with Dr. Kamal in Thailand.
Yeah, he was okay with me, but they have a cardiologist or an anesthesiologist that monitors, and they weren't okay with it. So they sent me to this cardiac hospital, and they hired a cardiologist to come and watch me, and he was supposed to watch me during the surgery. And after that, I was supposed to spend 2 nights at the cardiac hospital, not the Kamal hospital, but a cardiac hospital where I would be in an ICU and be monitoring me. And it was going to cost $10,000 extra.
Oh my goodness! So what?
I thought, well, okay, if I don't do it, I'll regret it probably the rest of my life. So, okay, it's a big expense, but I guess I should do it. And so I agreed. I went and did the test, and I passed. And then they scheduled me for the 14th of November.
So this stress test that you had to take, it
was running on a treadmill where they kept raising.
And it's $10,000?
Well, everything all together. They had MRU, a couple of other tests.
And were these tests that you've already done here in?
I had done these already.
Oh my God!
But they wanted it done there.
No.
So they had heart monitors and everything. And
You have you tried like taking a video of you doing the test in Toronto and then sending it?
well, I didn't think that if I
They
had
just
known,
wanted to see it.
if they, I don't know if that would have worked anyway, but because they just wanted to see it for themselves.
Mm, okay, yeah, it's a little bit unreasonable. I mean,
Well, yeah, I
the
guess.
request makes sense, but then the way they handled it didn't seem to make sense, right?
Yeah, it was pretty much take it or leave it. Take it or
Oh
leave
my
it.
god,
So
what a horrible situation that must have been.
yeah, because I thought, well, when am I going to be coming back to Thailand to do this again? So, but anyway, I took it. They they had a whole team of specialists monitoring me during the surgery, and it went well. It went fine. And so the first night they transported me by ambulance to the cardiac hospital, and they had nurses coming in the whole night. I was wired up, like a pincushion with the wires everywhere, and
the TV.
and everything was normal. So next day they said, well, there's nothing abnormal. So instead of spending 2 nights, you can go back.
Does that cut down the cost?
It cut down the
Oh,
cost.
good. At least something good came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, the recovery went normal. So I had and as a matter of fact, it went better than a lot of other people.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us about your recovery. How like take us through the process. Like, what was the initial? Like, what was the worst of it? When did you get over the worst of it? Things
Well,
you found
yeah.
uncomfortable.
When I had the surgery,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Remember just going under and then coming out and being totally bewildered about where I was, and then all of a sudden I remembered what was happening. I was supposed to get breast implants. I had also paid extra for those, but I felt that they hadn't done it, and they told me later they were afraid of cutting the wires for the defibrillator, and it turned out that that's a good thing because I had to pay extra for it over there,
Right.
and when I applied later in Ontario, I was approved, and so it's covered in Ontario. So good thing they didn't do it then. So when I was recovering, I could feel my body felt very strangely different down there, and I was it didn't hurt. It wasn't painful. It just felt different, and because it was so new, it was uncomfortable.
It's a new situation you have to get used to.
Yeah, right? It's a new sensation, and what happened later on, it felt like you know the phantom limb problem.
Yes.
I felt like I still had a limb down there.
Did you actually? That was something I was curious about as well.
I felt like I had it, and it was one of the weirdest feelings I've ever had. Like when I reached down, there's nothing down there, and yet it felt like there was like it was still there.
Oh my god! Really?
It was the ghost haunting me.
I don't know how to feel. I don't think that I would miss it, but I think just
no, I didn't miss it. It was just
because it's been part of you for so long. It's like the finger. Right?
It's been there forever.
Right.
And then it's gone.
I often wonder if I would have that sort of.
I don't know. I can only tell you that I had it, and it was one of the strangest feelings that. Anyway, so they kept me in bed for almost a week there. They won't let you. They help you out to the shower, and you're pretty wobbly when you go, and then you're back to bed, and it's boring, just excruciatingly boring.
So hang on, let me go back a second. So right after your surgery, you came out. Were you awake like immediately after the surgery?
I was awake immediately after this. Well, in the recovery room. I think I came to in the recovery room, and then when I was awake, then they put me in an ambulance and sent me to the brought me to the cardiac hospital.
Okay. I wanted to see if you were just like sort of comaed until like.
Actually, I recovered my faculties, my mental faculties, pretty quickly. I remember in the past where it's a long, drawn out process, but I came to very quickly,
Hmm.
and mentally I was there right away almost.
Wow. And so, did you? What was the most like painful thing that you may have
Oh,
experienced
the
through
most painful thing
recovery?
was lying on my back. My I, because I was wired
Mm-hmm.
such a way I couldn't lie on my side, and my back muscles
Oh
started getting
no.
excruciatingly painful. That had nothing to do with the surgery. It was
Mm-hmm.
just
Oh
lying on,
well, yes.
and so I was in agony. I couldn't sleep. I, I, I couldn't do anything. I tried sitting up and then lying down, bracing myself up a bit, and then changing position, lying on my side as much as I could. But it was so painful.
Had Have you tried putting like pillows
I
underneath
did. I
it?
tried everything. Pillows and blankets underneath there, and
Oh
it
no.
was okay for about a minute or so, and then it started. Then the pain came back. So that was the worst part because I couldn't sleep at night. Um, I slept maybe a few minutes at a time, and then wake up, and then the pain. So that was that
Oh.
was that was much worse than the surgery.
And how long did that last for you?
that lasted. A few days. It started gradually getting better because after the
Few
second
days.
day, they brought me back to the Kamal Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and I still had all the wires connected, like the ECG and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and they started gradually removing them,
Mm-hmm.
and um, so I was able to change my position a little bit more.
So it was the monitoring that was more
Oh,
that was more painful than any part of your recovery.
yeah. I never had such back muscle pain in my life
Oh
as I did.
no.
So surgery was a breeze.
Mm-hmm.
The surgery was a breeze, but it was the back problems that were.
Well, that's great to hear that the surgery was a breeze.
Yeah,
It really is.
I heard stories where um, it wasn't a breeze for others, and they told me about the tremendous pain that they were in, but I didn't have any of that. I didn't.
Wow. That is
And people were saying, "Wow, it's amazing that you're not in pain." Like my sister-in-law said that she read stories about how people were in agony after the surgery.
ooh.
Not me, thankfully.
I'm a little bit scared of like needles and stuff. So like surgery is a little bit scary for me.
Yeah, well, and when it doesn't help when you hear about what they do down there, right?
Hmm.
It's
Actually, I try to avoid like as
yeah,
much
I know.
detail as I can.
After I started reading the description, it started
Yes,
turning me a little bit, making me feel a little bit sick.
that's
Um,
actually what happened to me too.
yeah, so
I
I didn't.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I just avoided that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
Don't
was.
spare me the details.
Just get it
Just
over.
do it, and
Don't let me
don't
know.
tell me what you did.
Don't tell me. Just do it and don't tell me.
Yeah.
Because like if I had started reading the surgery procedure as well, and the more I read, the more I found that okay, if I keep reading this, I'm gonna be worrying about it until I'm done.
And it's not
So,
gonna help. It's not gonna help your mental condition.
so I was like, okay, look, I know the general about it, the
Yep.
basics about it.
Yep.
I don't need to know every excruciating detail.
No.
And I don't need to think about it. I just need to like
You
get
just
it over
get
with.
it over with, and then live with the consequences after.
Mm-hmm. Look at the results, I would like to say.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hopefully the good results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So quick question. Are you happy with the surgery?
I am happy with the surgery. Yeah, it's
Emotionally, physically, both happy?
I'm at ease,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, You know, I mean, you could have regrets if you, oh, I've been with this all my life, but I don't think about it.
So it's been 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
3 months.
November 14th was when I had it, and
Almost then. Tomorrow it is.
tomorrow is my 3-month birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Yeah.
You're 3 years old, Sarah.
I'm 3 months
3 months
old.
old.
3 months old as a woman.
Exciting.
Woman, yeah.
Exciting news. Actually, that's when I set my birthday on the day I started my HRT. Actually.
Okay.
That's
when
my
you have that, then you could reset your birthday.
You know what? Maybe I will.
Something very momentous. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big event. Yeah.
It is. It's a huge milestone.
Yeah.
This is something that I've often thought about to myself, in and it was never something I could share with anybody, like until recently, of course.
Mhm.
And it's weird because a lot of people don't understand it, and you know what? They don't have to understand it.
No.
It's not.
No, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just like, for the people who don't understand it, they just have to know that just because you don't understand it doesn't give you the right to cast your judgment.
That's right.
Or your opinion onto others, right?
No, I mean, there's some primal urge there which is driving you towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have it, you can't explain it to anybody else.
Exactly.
And even if you have it, you can't explain why it's driving you.
Yeah.
It's just something that is.
Like the best, as close as I can describe it, is as sure as you are that you are a male or female, wherever you're born, as sure as you are that, I'm sure that I'm female inside.
Yeah.
And if the person isn't willing to just take a moment to just put themselves in that position, then there really is no conversation to be had.
No, it's
Yeah.
It's a priori. I mean, it's the starting point.
Yeah.
No, I've always known what I felt inside, but I've had things put layered on top of it about, oh, you're not really, and so I've had doubts sewn in, not about what I am, just about about my validity as a human being. That am I valid because I want this? Because I've had that doubts put in, and I'm sure many other trans people have that same feeling that, especially if they've gone their whole life casting doubt and
Definitely.
And being criticized and essentially criticizing yourself because of what.
And that's the problem, right? That is the society that we live in today, that makes us feel that way inside.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit sad, and it's something that I would like to change.
Yeah.
I would like to affect some sort of social change on this issue.
Well, it's happening. I come from way back when all I knew was that I'm a weirdo. There was no word.
Yeah, that's how they make you feel. They sort of make you feel, if you don't feel like this certain box, if you don't fit in this box, then they make you feel like you're a weirdo. And it's not true.
No, it's not true. But if you don't hear anything against countering that, then you start to believe it, and it sows doubts in your mind and
Definitely.
Makes you depressed about whether your life is valid or not.
It's definitely that the doubt, the self-doubt, the constant self-doubt, is a big problem. I have had to deal with that as well, and I'm glad you and me both, we're out of it. We're out of it. It's good.
Yeah. No, let me say that this has made me feel a whole lot better. But I'm still not over all of my demons. They're still demons to be overcome.
Of course, it's a process. It's like a journey.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So, so how is your everyday life now after surgery?
Wow. It's I have a routine now. After surgery, I was given a set of instructions on what to do, and the main thing was to do dilation.
Dilation, of course.
Because what they do is they form a vaginal cavity, and using the penile material, and if that is left, it closes up on itself. So it has to be kept opened all the time, and this is what dilation does. And so there's a routine. It depends on, I guess, what institution that the surgery is done in, but they give you a set of instructions on what to do. And my life is I didn't think about this very much before, but my life has been pretty much taken over by dilation. I have to do it twice a day, an hour just dilation time, which doesn't count the preparation and cleaning. So it takes about 3 hours a day, morning and afternoon, or morning and evening. And that was a little bit upsetting at first, because I thought, my life is over. All I can do is dilation.
Oh no!
But I've gotten into a routine, and this just has to be for 6 months, and then it's once a day after that. So I'm seeing some daylight already. So
good.
It's something that you have to be prepared for.
It becomes once a day after 6 months.
This is the instruction I was given.
And does it get even less over time?
After that it becomes once every 3 days.
Once every 3 days. That's not bad.
So I think it has to be kept up at least a certain minimum frequency forever. But it's not as onerous as it is right at the beginning.
And it's certainly something that I'm willing to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm willing to deal with that.
Yeah, you just have to, just don't let it be a shock when you find out all of a sudden. I knew about it, but I didn't realize, until I actually started doing it, I didn't realize how much time it takes. And so I thought, what did I get myself into?
For me, I think that at the start, if I have to sit for so long, I'd just be doing my makeup. Because that's how long I'd take anyway.
If you got something you can do, all the better.
That's how long it takes me to get ready anyways.
So you can do your makeup twice a day for an hour.
Yes, that is totally okay.
Good. Then you're all set. You have no problems.
Okay, let's see.
So other than that, I go out in between. Like if I'm going out, I do it one in the afternoon early, and then I go out for the evening. If I'm doing something during the day, I do my thing during the day, and then I do the dilation in the evening. I always do one first thing in the morning when I get up, so I get that out of the way first.
In the day, one in the night.
And then one either in the afternoon or one in the evening. Cool. Depending on what I'm doing.
So basically, the first 6 months after the surgery is stay at home and do makeup.
Yeah, do makeup. You can go. We went out, did a couple of road trips. You do have to do a bit of planning. Like I went with my daughters. We did a little trip around southern Ontario. So I had to bring this little box of all of my dilation equipment with me, and I didn't want to tell the people at the Airbnbs. So when in the evening I did it private in bed, and you have to make sure you're very careful that you clean up, that you don't leave a mess. But you can go traveling or do things, but you just have to do planning.
Just gotta wake up a little bit before.
Yeah.
get ready for bed a little bit earlier.
Or yeah, whatever. It all goes according to what your plans are.
Just like everything else in life.
Exactly.
That's not a big deal.
That's quite a revelation, isn't it?
Not a big deal. Just like everything else in life.
Yeah.
So your overall is good. Everything's great.
Everything is good. I've gotten what I wanted to in life. I mean, I'm quite the latecomer, because I'm 68. So I've done it really late.
Well, it's never too late.
Yeah. No, it's never too late.
It's only too late if you didn't do it.
That's right. Then definitely.
So let me ask you a question. If there were what is the worst thing out of this that you feel like that has happened to you, like overall, like the whole surgery process wise, from start to end? If you had to pick, what is something that stands out to you as a negative sort of experience? The most negative experience that you may have had.
Well, the most negative was being turned down for surgery. Aside from that,
you don't have to have one. I'm just asking.
No, I didn't react very well at first to the amount of time that dilation took, but I've gotten used to that. So that was I can't say there's anything really badly gone wrong or negative that's come out of it.
That is good to hear. That is great to hear. I just wanted to ask some questions that other people may have had.
I think my story is of course different, unique.
It is
compared to all others.
Everybody else has a unique story.
And I had overall in my transition, compared to what I've some of the stories I've heard at our transition support group meetings, my life has been a bed of roses compared to what I've heard. Like I haven't had anybody that has reacted very negatively to me. My kids have accepted me. My family, my friends have accepted me. I've been accepted at work. Nobody has really done anything really negative to me. So I'm very lucky. I've had the surgery has gone very easily. So I don't know if I'm an anomaly or not compared to what other people go through. I know there are people that go through things many times worse than me.
There are situations that occurs on both sides of the spectrum. Certainly.
Yeah, I haven't been fired or anything. I've heard stories of people getting fired, losing their families, and just becoming totally isolated, and that hasn't happened.
I think that says a lot about you as a person, because who you choose to surround yourself with says a lot about yourself. And if the people you have surrounded yourself with are accepting and understanding and just great people, it says that you're probably a great person too.
I've become a lot more sociable since having come out. Before, I was a loner. I didn't feel that I belonged in either company. I didn't have male friends because I couldn't relate. I didn't have female friends because I felt like that they would. This was just my own opinion that they would reject me because of what I am. So I was really isolated.
It's a very negative self-perception that
it was self-imposed.
And definitely I understand everything you've just said as well, and I experience it as well. So this is one benefit. I've become
a lot more. People say I'm a better person to be with now than I was before.
Good.
Which is good to know.
That what? That's what it's all about. It's about being the best you that you can be.
Yeah. Finally, right? Like they say, a late bloomer.
Perfect. You are an example and a hero in my book.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so happy to hear your story. And I'm sure like everybody has, learned a lot from this. Hopefully, if you've been paying attention. And did you have any other thought you'd like to share with us?
Let me see. I'm just so grateful for how things have turned out, and if I can do anything to help anybody, that would be enormous. Because I think I still have a lot of left to give.
I think you have done a lot to help people, just by coming here to speak, just by showing up to the group that we met in, and just in general being like a nice person and sharing your experience with people. That is.
You're gonna make me blush.
That is the most important thing, I believe. It is. I find that it is the lack of education and information in our society that creates this problem, and by sharing it, we sort of eliminate the ignorance.
It breaks down the barriers.
Yes, we like to remove the ignorance.
Yeah, I know myself that if I don't know about a certain group, then I have opinions which can be very hard-edged, and when I get to know them, it changes completely. And I think that's the only way to get understanding, is to actually connect.
Definitely. A willingness to hear the other side.
Yeah,
is,
to listen.
An open mind is the key to a better future for everybody, I believe.
It would make the world a lot better place to be. That's for sure.
Awesome. Sarah, thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you, Deanna, for giving me this opportunity to give my point of view.
Okay, thank you so much. Guys, there you have it. My dear friend Sarah. And yes, so that's it for today. We had a really good interview here. 42 minutes. And we'll see you guys later. Hopefully we'll have Sarah back for another interview, maybe like.
You mean I don't get the hook?
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yay.